Thank you. So the crazy thing is I called Steve on Tuesday because I wanted to share what was in my mind with him and his Marcela. This is what you're telling me is what I have planned for Sunday. So before going into the cry out is just the confession. Back in March, Steve did a sermon and about sin and confession and conviction. That day, I feel like Steve knocked me in the head because he hit me really hard. That afternoon after the service, I talked to Steve. I called Jim and the girls, and I told them I need to confess something God put in my heart that for so many years I've been praying and asking God to give me my sight, because I've been told by doctors since I'm 15 years old that I was going to be blind at any moment, and I lost my sight on my right eye 15 years ago. So my only eye is my left eye, and I've been having many issues lately. So my prayer for years, please God, let me see, don't take my sight so I can see my daughters grow. I can see my son. I can drive. I can see Jim. I. What I didn't realize is I never during this all the years praying for healing, I never did the most important, that was putting God first. I never asked God to heal me for His glory. I was like, that day I felt so convicted. I felt so bad, so selfish. I said, God, forgive me for being so selfish and not putting you first. That night after we left the service, I confess, I talked to Steve and Jim and the girls. That night, my fear of being blind went away. I wasn't scared anymore. No more. And I told God, okay, if your purpose for me is to fulfill my purpose in life is being blind, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. And that day, the fear of being blind disappeared. Fast forward to May, that I got a hole in the macula and we have to do the surgery. May 18, I have the surgery. Part of the recovery is being facing down with my face parallel to the floor for 24 hours a day for a week. And out of those 7 days, I had 3 days an eye patch on my eye, and I don't see on this eye. So I was 3 days blind, in darkness, in complete darkness, with Jim, the girls helping me to go everywhere. I couldn't see absolutely nothing. But you know what? My heart was full of light. I can't even describe the peace. It's we were talking with someone. It's a weird, godly peace that I have during those 3 days. That I was telling Jim, this is not me. I'm the person that even going into a dark room has palpitations and sweaty hands, that I can go sometimes in a ride at the parks because I get so scared of darkness. 3 days, facing down, not looking at nothing, in darkness, in complete darkness. And I told the girls, look the Psalm, and then Psalms 119, verse 105 says, your word is the lamp on my feet, the light on my path. And I have that verse here in my head now all the time, because I was able to focus only on God. That's it. I couldn't, nothing. It was just take the patch 4 times a day to put an eye drop for 10 seconds and put it back. So that confession gave me the opportunity, and God gave me the blessing to have the fear flew away from me. So I wanted to tell you that because it's for me now, it's so important that we align our motives, the motives of our prayers, with God. So we clear the path for the blessings. Because this peace, it has been just so incredible. When sometimes people call me, Marcela, how are you doing? I'm so sorry you're going through this. I'm like, no, don't feel sorry. I'm happy. I'm okay. This is part of the process. This is part of God's plan. So aligning your motives is so important. It's so important so God can work His wonders. Now, fast forward again another week. The following week, on Wednesday, I started seeing very, very, very cloudy. Very cloudy. I was still with my head down, but I was able to see. They put a gas bubble in my eye. I was able to see through the bubble, very clear, fairly clear. But out of the sudden, my eyes start getting super cloudy, foggy. And Wednesday, I'm like, oh, it's part of the process. Thursday got very, very foggy. I couldn't almost see again. Jim was in Alabama working. He got sick there. He got a stomach bug in Alabama. He was sick. When Jim got home Wednesday night, I told him, Jim, we need to go to the emergency room tomorrow morning. My surgery was in the Bascom-Palmer. For those who are not familiar, Bascom-Palmer is the biggest eye institute, if not in this country, around the whole world. So they have the main office, the main building, the Mayo Hospital is in Miami, downtown Miami, and they have a set of 3 buildings, another institute, remote institute in Palm Beach Gardens. But the only ER is in Miami, and they were very clear after the surgery, if you have an emergency, you need to come to the ER in Miami, nowhere else. I was like, okay. So next morning, we got up and, got ready to go to Miami. And Jim is still very sick. That was the only time I took my peace went away. At the moment when I was leaving the house and I kissed Megan and Melissa, I kissed them to go to the hospital. That was the only moment that I feel fear again, because I was fearful that was the last time I was going to be able to kind of see them. I was not seeing them, but, to have the light on my eyes. And I turned around, wiped my tears, because I didn't want them to see me crying. But I was in fear again. We got to the car, and we decided to call to Palm Beach Gardens, at least to see if there was a nurse or someone who can assess me to see it was worth it, the 3-hour drive to Miami on a Friday with the traffic. So, of course, they put us through a voicemail. But we were driving south, and the Palm Beach Gardens location is right there in PGA Boulevard and the Turnpike. So when we got there, we were passing, just let's just stop here. You never know. So we got to the Retina building, and Jim told me, Marcela, there is a big sign saying that the building is closed. Excuse me, I'm going to go back. The most important, when we were in the car, I got in the car in so much distress, and I started crying, and I started screaming to God. I was like, God, please, hear me out. Hear me out. I don't know how else to pray. I don't know if I'm using the right words. I don't know what to ask. I don't know what to say anymore. Hear me out. I'm your daughter. I know you don't want me suffering like this. Please, please. I told Steve that cry came from my stomach. Not even from here. I felt it like that came from my guts. Oh, like, I know I'm your daughter, God. I know you don't want me suffering. So we went driving. We got to the building, and Jim told me, Marcela, there is a big sign. The building is closed today. But and the sign says to go to the main building. I said, okay, let's go. Let's go. And we went there. As we walk in, I hear a lady, and Jim was like, a lady, very demanding, very bossing everybody in the lobby. You go there, you go there, what do you need? I'm like, okay, we don't want to talk with her. Because I'm like, she's so mean, don't talk to her. I'm like, okay, you go there, and they send us to a front desk. I call it a accident. The kid in the front desk, his name was Nicholas. That is my son's name. So kind of eased me out, and like, I asked him how he wants to be called, and I say, Nico. I'm like, I call my son Nico. So that kind of took a little bit of my craziness and sadness and fear and everything that I was feeling. We said we need a nurse to assess me to see if this is an emergency or not. She said, okay, no problem. We sat there for 45 minutes, nobody. I hear the nurses and the mean lady talking in Spanish, saying that they didn't know where to put me, what to do with me. We didn't have an appointment. There is not emergency room there. We don't know what to do with her. Say, Jim, go back to Nico. So Jim went back to Nico. Nico got a nurse who finally came. Very nice, but she started asking for my phone number. I was like, why do you need my phone number? Do you call this morning? Yes, we left a message, but we called from Jim's number. I need your phone number. Hear me out. I have surgery in my left eye. What is your phone number? So we gave up. We gave her my phone number, and she said, okay, I'll be back. I was like, wait a minute. Let me tell you what's going on. She left. She left us there, I don't know, 15 minutes. Then my phone rang. It was her again on the phone. I was like, I was just right there with you. I was like, why are you not coming talking in person with us? No, I'm leaving a message to the nurses at the Retina building. I was like, the Retina building is closed today. Oh, I didn't know. Like, yeah, it's closed. So I don't know what to do. Give me a moment. I'm going to put you in a brief hold. The brief hold was probably 35 minutes. She came back on the phone and left my line open. I said, I'm going to call somebody else. She called somebody else, and I hear her saying, I don't know what to do with this lady. She has surgery in the right eye. I was like, no, in the left eye. She didn't know nothing because she didn't let me explain what was going on. I don't know what to do. In the middle of this, my amazing husband was already so mad, and we were like, okay, let's hang up. Let's go to Miami, whatever. We have wasted 2 hours here. Jim was pacing in front of me, pacing. I saw his shoes back and forth. With this, while I was in the phone with the lady who put me on hold again, the mean lady from the beginning signed to Jim, is everything okay? And Jim told her no. So he called Jim to her desk, and Jim explained what was going on. She said, bring your wife here, because I couldn't see to work. And as soon as I got to the chair, he told me, hang up the phone. I was like, no, I can't. This is my lifeline here. I was like, no, hang up the phone to her. Bro, this is not going to happen in my watch. I got you. You are mine. You are mine. She uses Jesus' words. Say, you are mine. I got you. She called the head nurse from the other building on her day off. Talked to her. I said, I have a lady here. I'm not going to send her to Miami. I don't want to send her. She's been 2 hours here waiting. I need someone. Somehow she got the cell phone of a doctor. She put me through the doctor. I explained the doctor. The doctor told me, he was at home. He told me, I'm on my way. Put me again with the lady. The lady, okay, let's go to the other building. And we were like, the Retina building is closed. She said, don't worry, I have the key. I have the key. Remember, you are mine. You are mine. I don't know how many times she said, you are mine. She took us there. The building was closed. The only people there was a group of technicians that were receiving a training. She got the trainer to assess me, to find out. After the assessment, we find out that my eye pressure was very elevated. We can detach the retina, and that will be devastating for me in my situation. We wait for the doctor. The doctor came. Funny thing, his name was Allah, A-L-A-A. Allah, Dr. Allah came and assessed me like no one else have assessed me ever. He took probably an hour and a half looking at my eye, doing all kind of stuff. We did pictures. He got another technician. He took a bunch of pictures of my eye inside to make sure that my retina wasn't detached. That's the main worry. And he says, everything is okay. But I was in tears. I was like, Jim, I can't believe God opened this building just for me. We're not talking about a little office in a shopping center, like the Bascom Palmer, this institute. I can't believe God is so magnificent, and that he heard me out, that he opened that building. I was like, I feel like a famous person in that big building open just for me. The lady all the time, your mind, now on your mind. She even gave us her cell phone. I say, every time you come to your appointments, call me if you need anything, because you are mine. We got in the car. Everything was okay. we switched drops and do whatever we needed to do so to bring the eye pressure down. I prayed for the lady. I gave her a hug. I prayed for the lady. She started crying. I was like, don't make me cry. I was like, you're an angel. You don't understand. You're an angel that God put us today here. I was like, no worries. I got you. I got you. We got in the car and those words, I got you. You are mine. I am totally convinced that was Jesus Christ talking through that lady, the lady, and also a lesson, the lady that we judged when we got to the clinic because she was mean for us, in our opinion, that she was mean and demanding and bossy. That lady that we judged, that we didn't want to talk to her, she became my angel. She became the voice of Jesus Christ to help me and to treat me like royalty. So I think that is the second time in my life that I cry out to God like that. And he hear me. He hear me. I couldn't believe. Because I was like, God, I still in disbelief, or not in disbelief because I know he hears us. But there was a moment that I feel so insignificant, and I thought that he was not listening to me. So maybe my accent, so I pray in Spanish. I pray in Spanish, in English, and everything. But he hear me out. And this cry came from here, is how I describe it. And it was just so amazing. It was just so amazing how God hear his daughter. And a friend, my friend Saul, told me when I was telling her, I said, Marce, you were just treated how you deserve. Because I told her, I feel like I was treated like royalty. I said, yeah, because you are royalty. You are the daughter of the King of Kings. And that's how you must be treated. And he made it happen. Here is my daughter. I'm giving it to you. Open that building. Bring the doctor from the house. Have the head technician. Do everything. He orchestrated everything like that to make it happen. He didn't. I think that he saw me suffering so much that he rescued me at that moment. And the moment that I have fear, like Peter, when he took his eyes from Jesus, that moment when I hugged Megan and Melissa, that was my moment that I took my eyes from him. But when I was drowning, he rescued me. And I just want to tell everybody, because I'm so grateful. And please don't wait until you're healed. Don't wait until your problems go away. Don't wait until everything is solved to praise him. Because that in the darkness, in those 3 days of darkness, the only thing I did, and this is not like, oh, Marcela, so cool. No, I just praise him 24/7. 24/7. And that's when we need to praise God. When we're in the darkest moment, in the struggle, when we're ripping out our skin to the bones, is when we need to praise him, because he's just so magnificent, and he's our Father, and he loves us with everything we cannot understand. And I just wanted to share that. And one thing that they still want me to touch is, many people is like, oh, Marcela, you just have the ankle fracture, 4 months and the whole thing. But I'm convinced now that what happened to my ankle was the preparation for this time. And I just wanted to share. I just wanted to share how God has been working in my life and in the life of my family, and that peace, that beautiful, beautiful, unexplainable peace. And thank you.
Yay.